Hi, I'm josephrlewis, and I write adventures. And I've gotten several versions of a question recently, in some recent weeks, and I think it's about time to address that question directly. I've talked about this subject a handful of times in passing, but now I'm going to tell you how long your adventure should be. In my mind, there are basically three lengths of adventures. There are one-shots, there are short campaigns, and there is, oh God, oh God! Let's start with one-shots. As the name implies, a one-shot is an adventure that should be playable in one session. Of course, there's a trick to that because different systems play at different speeds and different densities, and different tables run different length sessions. My Thursday night game is often 2 hours long. My Saturday games are often 3 or 4 hours long. I have played in games that are 6 to 8 hours long. So what is a one-shot length? It's going to depend. So, the adventure that you write intending to be a one-shot may be a one-shot for one group, and it may be 2 or 3 sessions for another group. That's fine. But is there a way to calculate or project how much space or how much content in our adventure will translate into how much time at a table? Again, there are many variables. We don't know the number of players. We don't know the type of system. Hopefully you've played a number of different systems, though, and you have a lot of experience and insight to the way this might work. I've done a little bit of math. So let's see what my math turned up. In my experience, 4 players, which is somewhat typical of a table. I play with anywhere from 2 to 6 people at a time. But let's say 4 players. I have found they spend a little more than 20 minutes in any given location, on average. So I'm going to round that up to 22 minutes. And of course, there's going to be 5 minutes at the beginning of a session to just get started, to get everyone settled in, make sure they have their pencils. Someone has always forgotten their dice for some reason. So session starts, 5 minutes of setup and getting people going, and then we start with 22-minute locations. So based on that, 6 encounters should take about 2.25 hours, 2 hours and 50 minutes. 8 encounters should take about 3 hours. And 10 encounters will take about 3 hours and 45 minutes, just under 4 hours. So, and that's just locations or encounters, which could include random encounters, which means if you wrote 10 encounters, but 2 or 3 random encounters show up, then they're only going to play 6 or 7 or 8 maybe of your pre-written location encounters. All these are factors we need to think about. I personally think it's better to err on the side of a shorter adventure than a longer one, because I personally think that a 3-hour game is really solid fun, but a 4-hour game is kind of tiring, and I start looking at my watch and hoping things wrap up, because that's the way my brain works. This is why, for example, Let's Slay a Dragon contains 8 location encounters, and assumes that players will see 6 of them, plus 1 or 2 random encounters. I think the math works out pretty well for having a solid 3-hour play experience. Keep in mind that if your system that you're writing for is crunchier, like 5e or Pathfinder, then the encounters will be slower. They will take more minutes, so you will need fewer of them. If your system is lighter, like Cairn, then the encounters will play faster, and you'll probably need more of them. But your goal, in general, for a one-shot, in my opinion, is to have 6 to 8 encounters, and that should easily fit in a document of anywhere from 1 to 4 pages, depending on your writing style. So that's one-shots. Let's talk about short campaigns. My definition of a short campaign is an adventure that runs anywhere from 2 to 20 sessions. Remember those variables that we did a minute ago with the number of players and the type of system? How long is a session? All of those things are still in play here, and it's just going to make it much harder to guess how long your short campaign adventure is going to take, which is why I gave that number, that range of 2 to 20, which is a pretty big range. So if it's possible for 6 encounters to fill 1 session, guessing about 3 hours, then 60 encounters would fill 10 sessions, and 120 encounters would fill 20 sessions. It's a lot. So with these definitions, we have a lot of space and wiggle room to create whatever kind of adventure you want. A medium-sized dungeon could have anywhere from 15 to 30 rooms, and you might have another 10 encounter locations around the dungeon, plus your random encounter table. So now we're getting up to maybe 50 encounters that could be built into your adventure. Of course, the players may not see all of them. So again, we don't know how many sessions this will take, but that's a lot of content, and that should carry on for a little while, some number of sessions in half dozen to a dozen range. A larger dungeon might be 80 to 100 locations or rooms, like lovely Jade Necropolis. Once you get up to these numbers, you're looking at a zine of 32 to 64 pages probably, or a small book of 60 to 80 pages. Now let's talk about our third category of adventures, the one that I helpfully titled, Oh God, Oh God! Now, the name of this category may betray how I feel about projects of this size. Above 100 locations, and you're flirting with mega dungeon territory or a full-on setting book. And once you're up here, I can't advise you. I don't write things of this size and nature. You'll just keep writing and writing until you can't write anymore and you feel like it's done. And how much is that? I can't tell you. It'll be as much as it wants to be. When you're writing something of this nature, you'll either be producing one very large book or probably a series of smaller books or zines. I personally don't do projects of this size. I know that they take a lot of time and they take a lot of planning, and I personally find it pretty challenging to maintain the same level of excitement and engagement and passion and quality for a project that goes on and on and on for too long. But you aren't me. And you can probably do whatever you can do. So if that's what you want to do, please go for it. Let's talk about time. How much time will it take you to write adventures of these different sizes and lengths? Well, that's going to depend a lot on you and how much time you have and the speed at which you work. I can tell you that I can write a one-shot in a couple of days. I can write a 30-room dungeon in a couple of weeks. I can write a 100-location adventure in a couple of months. That's just me. So, given these categories of a one-shot, or a small campaign, or oh God, what should you do? What should you choose? Where should you start? If you are just starting out as an adventure writer or publisher, I strongly recommend that you focus on one-shots. This allows you to develop all of the skills of the process of writing and editing and playtesting and revising, layout and publication. Over and over again, you can do this multiple times in a single year, and you get a lot of experience and insight into how you work as an individual and how the process works in real life. This will also give you the opportunity to get a lot of feedback from your audience, from people out in the real world. The more things that you publish, the more interactions you have with your audience. Then after you've done this a number of times, you've iterated, you've practiced these skills, then I think it's perfectly valid to graduate to doing larger projects, the short campaigns and the giant setting books. Once you feel that you have a very strong understanding of the process and the skills needed to do so. I have a few generic closing thoughts about adventure length. I think one-shots are great because they're an easy way for people to try out your writing or your publication style. They're basically trying out you. Do they like you and the stuff you make? It's a small investment. It's just a few dollars. It's one night's game time. And they can say, oh, I really like this writer, their style. I want to see more from them. I will look for their other stuff. If the first thing you published was a giant setting book and it costs, $40, $80, $100, then a person out in the world may see, oh, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of writing. It's a lot of content. I don't know them. I don't know if I want to invest that much money or time in them. What if it doesn't pay off? What if it doesn't mesh with my style or my play style or my table style? It introduces more questions. So I think it's very helpful for you if you're trying to build a following and have a longer career as a writer to start small and give people an opportunity to try you out. So I think one-shots are a great way to do that. One-shots are also very valuable and useful because any GM at any stage of their career will always want a one-shot because maybe they didn't have time to prep for tonight, maybe they didn't realize their friend was going to ask them to run for their family tomorrow, and they just need to grab something. They just need to fill up a couple hours of time. If they have a one-shot that they really like, then they absolutely want to pull that off the shelf. Maybe they've heard good things about your one-shot, so they go and grab it and say, oh, I'll try it out in my friend's family. Who cares if they don't like it? Probably never see them again. Those sorts of things. Or maybe they're building a large sandbox campaign and they need one-shots to populate their landscape. So maybe they want to, take a chance on you and your one-shot. So one-shots are evergreen. They're always useful. They have multiple uses for multiple people. So I think they're a great tool. As your adventures get larger in size, scale, and scope, it becomes a little more challenging to interact with the audience. At this point, in terms of size, you're interacting with GMs who are running long campaigns, who are probably also loving the process of doing their GM prep and inventing their own worlds and being creative just like you. So if they want to run a campaign, you're now interacting with folks who probably already have a campaign, and maybe it's less likely that they need your campaign. So that's a consideration. Also, the longer the campaigns are, the less often they need to buy campaigns. If I'm running a one-shot every week, then I need to buy a one-shot every week. But if I'm running a campaign and I buy your campaign book and it covers 10, 20 sessions of playtime, then I don't need to buy another campaign book for 10 or 20 sessions of playtime, which could be weeks or months away. So people are going to buy them less often. So another consideration to keep in mind. However, with that said, if your books are just dripping with flavor and interesting ideas, then people may want to buy them just so they can read them, just so they can see what kind of cool ideas you had, so they can steal your ideas for their home game. And that's great too. That's another type of interaction that you can have with your audience. So I hope I've addressed the question of how long should your adventure be. You have one-shots, you have short campaigns, and you have, oh my god, setting books. I encourage you to start small and work your way up. I think small adventures have a wider audience, they have more uses, they're easier for people to take a risk on you, and then the larger the adventure gets, the more challenging it gets to interact with your audience, to drag them away from other campaigns, or to make them take a risk on you if you're an unknown. So these are all things that you can keep in mind. You should also try to be doing math to figure out how long your adventure will actually take to play, and the way you test that again, of course, is by doing lots of play testing. So all things you need to think about, but nothing that should give you any gray hairs, or at least any more gray than mine. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I'll see you soon. Good luck out there. Hey everyone, if you like this content and you want to see more, or if you just want to support the channel, you can head over to my Patreon, where I have a whole bunch of stuff being queued up. We have dev notes for my adventures, we have my fantasy novels, we have early access to videos, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So please go check out my Patreon at patreon.com/josephrlewis. Thanks.